been racing, I'd say half of my life, ever since I got out of high school. There's nothing like it in the world.
Sean Murder Nova Ellington, the fearless king of street outlaws, has finally broken his silence. Fans have watched him dominate the streets with unmatched nerve and raw horsepower. But behind the scenes, rumors have been spreading like wildfire. From shocking career decisions to whispers about his personal life, everyone wants answers. And now, Ellington has confirmed everything. So what's the real truth behind his confession? Stay with us as we reveal the secrets he's finally ready to share. Sean Ellington's first step into racing.
My name's Sean. I drive the Murder Nova. They call it the Murder Nova because I murdered everything out on it. It's flat black, it's sinister, and it makes women and children cry.
In 2005, Sean Ellington made a bold decision that would completely transform his future. For over 20 years, he lived in Sayre, Oklahoma, a quiet town where everyone knew each other and life moved at a slow, steady pace. He worked side by side with his father in their auto body shop, learning, helping, and becoming deeply connected to car culture. But Sean felt something inside him, a pull towards something bigger. He wanted a new challenge and a chance to chase excitement. That desire led him to take a daring step. He packed up and moved to Oklahoma City. The move wasn't just a change of location, it was a leap into the unknown. Oklahoma City was loud, hectic, and full of possibilities. The huge roads, busy traffic, and thriving automotive scene lit a spark in him. Here, he wasn't just entering a new city, he was stepping into a bigger world. Soon after settling in, Sean began noticing the late-night energy of the city. When most people were asleep, certain streets came alive. Engines roared like thunder in the distance, and tires screeched against the pavement. At first, he didn't know what to think, but curiosity pushed him to check it out. One night, he followed the sounds and discovered a scene that changed everything. Crowds gathered, adrenaline pumping, and cars that looked like beasts, ready to attack the road. The smell of burning rubber filled the air. It wasn't a car meet, this was street racing. Sean wasn't planning to be there, yet he couldn't take his eyes off it. These drivers weren't ordinary people. They were nighttime warriors, chasing danger and victory on dark roads. Their cars weren't polished for show, they were built for one purpose: power. It was nothing like the peaceful car work he knew back in Sayre. There, cars were made pretty. Here, they were made unstoppable. With every race he watched, Sean felt his heart beat faster. This wasn't just competition, this was survival of the fastest. One wrong move could end it all. He kept coming back, observing every detail: how cars launched off the line, the focus in the driver's eyes, the precision in every gear shift. He soaked it all in like a student preparing for the biggest test of his life. That fire inside him grew. He didn't want to just watch anymore. He wanted to race. He had spent years learning engines, restoring vehicles, and getting his hands greasy. Now was his chance to prove what he could really do. But Sean didn't rush. He knew street racing demanded perfection. He began building a car built for speed. No extra weight, no unnecessary features. He worked bolt by bolt, tuning the power, improving traction, and making sure the machine was reliable enough to handle the chaos of the streets. He wasn't creating a car to sit pretty in a garage, he was building a rocket. Finally, the night arrived, his first real race. Just seconds of action. But those few seconds felt like the moment his whole life had been preparing him for. The flag dropped, tires screamed. The car shot forward. Wind hit his face like a storm. The engine roared like a beast unleashed. In that instant, Sean understood something important. Racing wasn't just thrill, it was freedom. It awakened a part of him he never knew existed. He didn't win the race that night, but the outcome didn't matter. What mattered was that he crossed a line, from being a builder in the shadows to becoming a racer with purpose. He had officially stepped into the underground world. Street racing came with its own rules, its own codes, and its own dangers. And Sean was ready to learn every part of it. But this passion didn't appear overnight. It had roots deep in his past, shaped by his earliest memories. To understand Sean's rise, we must go back to where his love for cars truly began. The origin of a street racing icon.
It had a big block Chevy in it with a root-style blower on it, and I brought it out to Oklahoma City one night. Got in my first street race with it.
Sean Ellington came into this world in Merced, California on November 15, 1977. From the moment he could walk, he was surrounded by cars, tools, and the unmistakable smell of gasoline. His father, Richard Ellington, owned a hard-working auto body shop, a place where engines roared louder than words, and where every day brought something new to build or repair. Richard wasn't just a mechanic. He was a craftsman who restored machines with patience and skill. Without realizing it, Sean was absorbing every moment inside that garage as if it were a second classroom. His childhood wasn't filled with luxury. Instead, it was packed with real experiences. Grease-covered hands, loud engines revving late into the evening, and the satisfaction of turning a broken car into a masterpiece. He didn't grow up watching cars from afar. He grew up touching them, learning them, understanding them. When Sean was 5 years old in 1982, his family packed everything and moved from California to Sayre, Oklahoma, a town quieter than he was used to, slower and simpler. But one thing didn't change. His father still ran his auto body shop, and that meant Sean remained close to the world he loved the most. He spent his childhood sweeping floors, handing his father tools, and watching repairs turn into restorations. Without being formally taught, he learned by doing, developing instincts that couldn't be written in any textbook. While other kids were outside chasing games, Sean was chasing horsepower. At an age when most kids struggled to spell the word engine, how one failed, and how one could go faster. As he grew older, the shop became more than just a workplace. It became a place where challenges excited him. Every car rolling into the shop brought a new puzzle. A dented fender, a cracked block. He wasn't just restoring cars, he was restoring their identity. By his teenage years, he wasn't just helping, he was building. He learned how to make old cars shine again, how to sand until metal looked new, how to bring engines back to life. And slowly, a deeper fascination began to take over. He wanted speed, he wanted power, he wanted to push limits, not just restore them. He began experimenting, tuning cars, tweaking engines, sharpening performance. While most people saw a car's beauty in paint and polish, Sean started seeing beauty in compression ratios, fuel delivery, and the roar of a motor hitting its sweet spot. He wanted cars that didn't just look powerful, he wanted them to be unstoppable. People around him saw a quiet young man with a calm personality. But under that calm exterior lived a blazing fire, a desire to be the best at whatever he set his mind to. He didn't need to show off or brag. His work spoke louder than any words. Mistakes didn't discourage him, they motivated him. Every setback was a lesson. Every failure made him tougher. That mindset shaped him into the man he would become. Someone who didn't quit, someone who fought silence with results. Before anyone ever heard the name Murder Nova, the spirit of that title was already alive inside him. Focused, fearless, hungry for speed, and completely dedicated to mastering his craft. By his late 20s, Sean had already spent nearly 2 decades building and racing machines in one form or another. He knew cars better than most people knew themselves. Every sound, every vibration, every flicker of exhaust told him a story. He didn't just operate vehicles, he connected with them. Behind it all stood the lessons from his father. Respect the machine, take your time, make it perfect, and never settle. These values became the backbone of everything Sean did. In the shop, in life, and soon, on the street. Racing was no longer just a curiosity. It was becoming his purpose. The underground world of street racing gave him exactly what he had been searching for: competition without talk, skill without shortcuts, and an arena where only the strongest engines, a mechanical monster dressed in jet black paint that would soon become one of the most feared machines on television and in the entire street racing scene. Now, let's turn our eyes to the legendary beast that helped turn Sean Ellington into a racing icon. A car that didn't just compete, it dominated. Murder Nova. The evolution of the Murder Nova.
And what's crazy is I could probably break it out right now and it would still be competitive with some of these cars, and that's the way I treat it.
Really? In the underground world of street racing, some machines rise above the rest and become legends. They aren't just cars. They're symbols of power, fear, and absolute dominance. That is exactly what Sean Ellington created when he built his 1969 Chevrolet Nova into the iconic street monster known as the Murder Nova. When Sean stepped fully into the racing scene, he wasn't looking for just another fast ride. He wanted a car that reflected who he was: skilled, fearless, and relentless in the pursuit of speed. A classic American muscle car with bones strong enough to handle anything he dreamed up. It didn't take long for the Nova to undergo its transformation. Gone was the shiny showroom look. In its place stood a completely blacked out, sinister beast. No flashy artwork, just pure darkness. The kind of darkness that warned everyone who looked at it, stay out of the way. The name Murder Nova captured its spirit perfectly. Silent, intimidating, deadly fast. But its reputation wasn't built on looks alone. Under the hood was a force that would make any racer's heart pound. Sean didn't want a typical engine. He wanted something brutal, so he built the car around a twin turbocharged small block Chevy engine. It wasn't just about horsepower on paper, it was about explosive force when the boost kicked in, sending the Nova forward like a missile. The roar of the Murder Nova wasn't just loud, it was a challenge, a declaration that this car ruled the night. To handle that kind of strength, Sean paired the engine with a GM Turbo 400 transmission, known for its toughness under extreme conditions. Power flowed smoothly from motor to tires, leaving no wasted energy. Everything was about acceleration and domination. But power means nothing without control. Sean made sure the Nova could handle every ounce of speed he demanded from it. Reinforced chassis, improved suspension, a frame built to take abuse without flinching. Every bolt and adjustment had a purpose. Go faster, grip harder, stay alive. As Sean's ambitions grew, so did the car. He constantly pushed himself to unlock more speed. The Nova evolved year after year until eventually it housed a massive 482 cubic inch engine, far stronger and meaner than anything it started with. With M1 methanol fuel feeding its lungs, the Murder Nova hit a staggering 3,200 horsepower on the dyno. A number so extreme, most racers can't even imagine controlling it. But Sean could, and he did. This wasn't a car built for show, it was built to destroy competition. On the street, its launch was violent, the kind of takeoff that forced the horizon to rush toward you like a tidal wave. The tires bit into the pavement like claws ready to tear anything apart that tried to stop them. Races ended quickly, with Murder Nova disappearing into the distance while challengers stared at its taillights shrinking away. 3,200 horsepower is not just performance, it's responsibility. It demands perfection. Tire pressure, fuel mix, turbo boost. Even the smallest mistake could mean the difference between victory and disaster. Sean understood that. He respected it, and that respect made him one of the most feared racers in Oklahoma City. The Murder Nova wasn't built overnight. It was built through long hours in the garage. Countless tests, failures turned into lessons, and a never-ending desire to be unbeatable. Piece by piece, upgrade by upgrade, Sean Ellington didn't just build a car, he built a legend that would soon take him beyond the streets of Oklahoma City and onto television screens across the world, changing his life forever. In 2005, Sean Ellington made one of the boldest choices of his life. For more than 20 years, he had lived in the small and quiet town of Sayre, Oklahoma. There he spent his days working at his father's auto body shop, learning everything about building and restoring cars. But deep inside, he felt a pull towards something bigger. He wanted more excitement, more challenge, and more speed than what Sayre could offer. So he packed up his life and headed to Oklahoma City, a place full of noise, lights, and opportunity. This move wasn't merely about relocating to a different place. It was a leap into the unknown. Sayre had shaped him, no doubt, but Oklahoma City promised something else. A chance to prove himself in a world where people fought for dominance on the streets instead of tracks. The city felt alive, busier, louder. Sean's heart beat a little faster in this new environment. For someone who had spent years repairing cars and bringing engines back to life, the thrill in Oklahoma City's air was impossible to ignore. Soon after settling in, he noticed something unusual. At night, the city changed. Certain streets transformed into loud battlegrounds of horsepower and adrenaline. Tires screeched. Powerful engines shook the air. At first, he didn't understand what was happening, but his curiosity quickly grew. He followed the sounds one night, wandering deeper into the night, until he found the source. There it was, a gathering unlike anything he had seen before. Cars lined up under the streetlights, drivers checking their engines, crowds cheering and waiting for the next race. The sharp scent of burnt rubber and gasoline mixed with the excitement pulsing in the air. This wasn't a show, it was street racing. Sean hadn't planned to discover this world, but once he witnessed it, he was hooked instantly. This wasn't like the polished car work he had seen in Sayre. Here, the cars were built for pure speed, aggressive, powerful, and raw. The racers were like nighttime gladiators. There were no trophies, no official rules, only pride and the hunger to win. He returned again the next week, and again after that. Each time he watched, he learned. He studied how drivers launched their cars, how they controlled traction, how they shifted weight and power. He noticed how one tiny mistake could cost everything. These races were fast, risky, and demanded absolute confidence. Watching from the sidelines wasn't enough for Sean anymore. The fire in his chest grew stronger every night. He wanted to be one of those racers, and he knew he had the skills. His hands had built and restored cars for years. Now he had a reason to build one meant for battle. So he got to work. He didn't rush. He didn't cut corners. Every single bolt and wire had to be perfect. He stripped the car down, removing unnecessary parts to lighten it. He focused on traction, boost, and durability. This machine wasn't meant for cruising. It was being transformed into a rocket ready to dominate the streets. Finally, the moment arrived, the night of his first race.
It's a 69 Nova. It's got a big block Chevy in it with a F3 Pro Charger. Makes about 1,800 horsepower to the tires.
The crowd watched. Engines hummed in the darkness, and adrenaline pumped through Sean's veins like electricity. When the flag dropped, his world exploded into motion. Tires screamed. The car launched forward like it had something to prove. The wind slammed against the windows as the engine roared with everything it had. Those few seconds changed his life. He didn't win that night, but that didn't matter. He had crossed the line. He had entered a world where he wasn't just a mechanic anymore, he was a racer. That first run awakened something inside him that he couldn't ignore. It became a place where he belonged. He felt free, alive, determined. Street racing demanded more than technical skill. It required courage, quick decisions, and nerves of steel. Sean understood that if he wanted to rise among the street legends of Oklahoma City, he would have to push himself more than ever before. That race sparked a new journey, one that would eventually lead him all the way to national fame. But to understand why Sean embraced such a dangerous world so fearlessly, we must go back further. Who shaped him into the racer he would become? Where did this passion for adrenaline and engines originate? To uncover the roots of his street racing obsession, let's take a closer look at the story behind his childhood and early life, the true beginning of the legend known as Murder Nova. The unstoppable road of Sean, Murder Nova Ellington.
It's a twin turbo, small block deal.
That's an all chassis car, right?
No, it's still original front frame rails.
Oh, really?
Sean Ellington didn't just appear on Street Outlaws. He stamped his name into the asphalt from the moment he arrived. Audiences were immediately drawn to his calm intensity, sharp focus, and the vicious presence of his all-black 1969 Nova. He wasn't loud or flashy. He let the Murder Nova's roar speak for him. His style was simple: run smart, run fast, and win. Week after week, viewers tuned in not just to see a car race, but to watch Shawn race. He represented the pure heart of Oklahoma City's street racing culture: raw talent, discipline, and respect for the craft. Even with fame building around him, Shawn never changed. Cameras didn't define him. Win or lose, he remained the same racer who once stepped onto the streets out of pure passion. He wasn't hunting for celebrity attention. He was chasing victory, pushing limits, and fighting to stay on top of one of the most competitive lists in the racing world. But with fame came pressure. As Street Outlaws exploded in popularity, faster drivers and stronger cars began showing up. The stakes grew higher than ever. Yet Shawn didn't step back. He stepped up. He strengthened the Murder Nova. He tested new setups. He adapted strategies to counter every new rival that tried to outrun him. No matter how the spotlight grew, his focus never shifted. He was here to race. Nothing more, nothing less. What separated Shawn from the rest wasn't just horsepower. It was his calculated patience. While others chased quick wins, he worked on long-term legacy. Fans respected that. Other racers respected that. He didn't dominate every race, but he always showed he was one of the smartest, most consistent drivers in the game. A racer whose skills came from decades of hard work, not overnight luck. Then came a new challenge: no prep kings. Unlike street filming on closed city roads, no prep kings pushed races onto drag strips with zero prep, no sticky traction, no predictability, just raw pavement and raw power. Many racers saw it as the next evolution. Many others saw it as dangerous. Shawn understood the risk. The schedule was exhausting. Repairs became more expensive, and the chance of wrecking your car doubled. So he waited. He watched. He rebuilt. He refused to enter until he knew he could compete at a championship level. Finally, in the last race of Season 3 in Ennis, Texas, he made his move. Others already had a full season of experience under their belt, but Shawn approached calmly, analyzing every variable like a chess master preparing for his opening move. When he rolled up to the starting line, he wasn't there just to participate. He was there to announce his arrival. And then came the biggest leap yet: Pro Mod racing. Pro Mods are monsters. Stronger, faster, more violent than almost anything seen on the streets. These cars separate the bold from the terrified. The moment Shawn committed to this world, everyone understood. He wasn't done proving himself. He was just entering his next chapter. After countless adjustments and relentless tuning, Shawn captured his first Pro Mod victory, a milestone that not only shook the competition, but also proved that the Murder Nova legacy could evolve and rise to entirely new levels of power. That win wasn't just a trophy, it was a statement. Shawn Ellington could conquer any racing environment he chose to enter. But away from the roaring engines and late-night showdowns, away from the cameras capturing every race, Shawn has another life. One built not on horsepower and speed, but on peace, family, and joy. Because behind the legend of Murder Nova, there's a man who treasures the quiet moments just as much as the victories. Shawn Murder Nova, Ellington's life behind the cameras.
Stuff that average families do. I take my wife out to dinner. I go to my son's baseball games. My son races four-wheelers. Other than that, we just hang out.
Shawn Murder Nova Ellington might be a legend on the track, but his real strength is found at home, with his wife, Erin. Their relationship is built on teamwork, loyalty, and shared dreams. Erin doesn't just cheer from the sidelines, she is fully involved in their business, 187 Customs, helping Shawn balance the chaos of racing with the peace of family life. Fame and competition never changed Shawn's priorities. No matter how packed his schedule gets or how intense a racing season becomes, he always returns home to the people he loves most. For Shawn and Erin, success means finishing the day sitting together, laughing in the garage, or enjoying quiet family time away from the noise of engines. Their bond has been tested by victories, failures, risks, and the pressure that comes with being on television. But through everything, they remained each other's safe place. While fans mostly see speed, adrenaline, and horsepower, what truly keeps Sean grounded is the love and support waiting for him at home. Being a racer can be lonely, but not for him. Aaron is his partner in business, in racing, and in life. That unity only deepened when their son, Aiden, came into the picture. He has grown up surrounded by tools, roaring motors, and his dad's passion for speed. But instead of copying Sean, Aiden is shaping his own identity in the automotive world. He spends hours in the shop learning, not because he's expected to, but because he genuinely enjoys it. He asks questions, tries new ideas, and celebrates every small improvement in his own projects. In their garage, there are no shortcuts, only lessons. Sean never forces his son into racing or building. Instead, he encourages curiosity, confidence, and patience. Their bond is one built in grease-stained shirts and late-night talks over unfinished cars. Seeing Aiden gain skills and pride in his work gives Sean and Aaron a different kind of happiness, the kind that only family legacy can bring. And that legacy has a home, 187 Customs. When Sean's career began taking off, he wanted a place where passion and profession could exist side by side. That dream became the shop, a space where engines roar, ideas flow, and the future of racing is shaped every single day. 187 Customs isn't just a business for money, it is personal. Sean built it with the people he trusts most. Every car that enters the shop has a purpose, whether it's a restoration full of emotion or a beast being prepared to dominate the track. There's laughter, teamwork, problem-solving, and endless dedication inside those walls. And just like the Murder Nova, the shop keeps evolving, growing stronger with every challenge. It's also where Aiden learns real-world craftsmanship and what it means to love what you do. Some days he's sweeping floors, other days he's helping with performance upgrades, all of it building toward a future he gets to design himself. For Sean, this garage is proof that life isn't only about racing ahead. Sometimes it's about building something worth coming home to. Whether he's facing fame, pressure, or a major race, he knows Aaron and Aiden are right beside him. And that support? That's his greatest horsepower. Sean's answer to the rumors. In the loud, unpredictable world of street racing, rumors travel faster than any race car. When a name like Sean "Murder Nova" Ellington is involved, even the smallest decision can create waves. For years, viewers watched him dominate on the track, so when he suddenly stepped back from several No-Prep Kings races, the fan base immediately exploded with questions. Some speculated he was done with racing. Others assumed drama behind the scenes, and a few believed he was distancing himself from the event altogether. But the truth was far more grounded and far less dramatic. Sean didn't step away out of anger, conflict, or loss of passion. He stepped away because life demanded balance. At that time, Sean was carrying a workload that most people wouldn't dare handle. Racing commitments, shop responsibilities at 187 Customs, travel demands, production schedules, all that while trying to remain a present husband and father. His family meant everything to him, and he refused to sacrifice that time for anything, even for fame or racing glory. He knew that if he continued to push himself into every single event, something important would break: his health, his family time, or the quality of his work. So instead of forcing himself into a situation where he couldn't give his best, Sean made a smart choice: step back temporarily and focus on what was already on his plate. That decision wasn't a retreat. It was responsibility. Many misread his absence as a sign he was no longer interested in competing, but anyone paying attention could see the truth. Sean never closed the door on No-Prep Kings. He simply refused to show up halfway committed. He has always believed that when he races, he should give it everything he has, both mentally and mechanically. No shortcuts, no distractions, no disappointments. and he also held deep respect for the racers competing in both street and track formats. He admired their hustle and knew how much dedication it required to shift between two different racing worlds. That respect is one of the reasons he didn't want to take up space in the lineup unless he could compete with full focus. Eventually, he did return, making a powerful appearance during the final race of Season 3 in Ennis, Texas. That move spoke louder than any response online ever could. It showed he was still in the game, he still backed the community, and he still had fire in him. As fans learned the real reason behind his temporary absence, opinions shifted. People began to understand that Sean wasn't running away. He was making wise decisions for his future. Over time, the rumors fizzled out while the truth stood strong. Sean never argued online or fueled drama. He never took to social media to clap back at critics. Instead, he did what he has always done. He let his actions speak louder than the noise. He raced when he was ready. He worked when he needed to. He focused on his family every chance he got. Through every misunderstanding, he stayed grounded. The gossip never shook him from what mattered most: his passion for the sport, the well-being of his loved ones, and the commitment he brings to everything he does. His calm way of handling rumors only made fans admire him more. Because in a sport filled with high stakes and loud personalities, Sean "Murder Nova" Ellington remains a rare kind of racer, the kind who never has to shout to prove who he is. Sean "Murder Nova" Ellington's journey proves that true strength isn't just measured in horsepower, but in heart. He has battled rumors, challenges, and the pressure of fame, yet never lost sight of what matters most: family, loyalty, and his love for racing. His story isn't over. Every time that Black Nova fires up, a new chapter begins. What do you think the future holds for Murder Nova? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.